Well, here we are on a gray and rainy day, and this is what we do when we know that it's going to rain.
Hi, I'm George the Antique Nomad. Come with me as I wander the country in search of valuable vintage, amazing antiques, and cool collectibles. We'll buy, sell, and trade at antique malls, shops, and shows, estate sales, flea markets, thrift stores, anywhere people go to find really interesting things that just aren't made anymore. So come on, let's go! Good morning, everybody. It's George the Antique Nomad. I'm at Renneger's Mount Dora show, and you know, they have 3 extravaganzas a year, every November, every January, and every February. And there's always one day at one of them that is a rain day, and today is going to be that day. At least that's what we've been told. So we set up the booth a little differently than usual because we needed to take into account that we might have to cover everything up really fast, and we want things to not get damaged. Yep. Yeah, there's certain high spots that you just kind of end up hitting.
George.
Yes.
I just had a different idea. Tell me what you think.
What's that?
If I did the 3 tables back there like I always do, but do 2 tables in the middle?
I think it'd be good because you sometimes seem a little squished like I feel this time. Yeah. I feel that way, but I'm doing it because I think everything needs support.
Well, yeah, you can latch onto everything.
We are using the interior of the van as our art gallery because these things cannot get wet, and it's actually working. I sold 2 paintings out of there for $65 a piece this morning. We just really got started. I've got things kind of lined up on bins so that they can be shoved quickly under tables when the rain comes. I've got my tarps at the ready, brought an extra tent, tied everything together, so I'm hoping everything works out. We haven't had any damage yet. We are starting to get some wind. We have to take that into account as well. If I can help you folks, let me know. Got a lot of neat art glass, the Costa Boda and some Blanco. Brought a lot of Afghans and some concert and sports related and auto racing related t-shirts. I've already sold a couple of those. So that was something nice. Finally cleaned up this neat old mirror from St. Pete from the old department store. And then I have been taking on new stuff. I always like to come into a show with things people haven't seen before. And so, for example, I just got this Russian samovar set with the hand painting. It's only about 30 years old, but it's really neat. And the little teapot sits on top like so. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you doing? Nice to see you. I have some new jewelry I need to put in the case, so here we go. Yep, that was my bucket list thing, and away it goes.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll let you look at the lures, and then we'll settle it all up.
Yeah. At least don't have to look at that far.
Exactly. It wasn't that bad. Well, here we are on a gray and rainy day, and this is what we do when we know that it's going to rain. We prepare and we seal everything off, and we have our blankets ready and our tents ready and our plastic ready, and we just hide for a while. They say this is going to stop in a couple of hours. Hopefully the stuff will stay safe, and a lot of stuff got put in the car, so we'll just see how we do. Well, I did like a lot of people, and I shut down during the rainstorm, and now I'm out shopping. There are people starting to filter back into the park, and this is going to be a fun time for me to get to take a little bit of a break and go shop between storms. I'd like to show you this vase back here with the swans in the trees. It has a Weller pottery mark. It's similar to their Donatello line, but I can't say that I've seen the swans before. Makes sense you would see this in Florida, though, because it's a very tropical looking thing. There's the black swans in Orlando that have been living in the Lake Eola and are part of the tourist attraction there, and they've been living there, gosh, for over 100 years now. Here's a push-button phone, but this looks like it could have been on Bob Newhart's desk with the fake alligator. And I have to say, that makes it kind of interesting to me. Let's see what kind of shape it looks like it's in. It's always hard with phones because you can't test them. It doesn't have a cord, but those are off and gone. And this was done around 1980 because it's got the date on it. Kind of tempted by that too. If it wasn't brown, I would grab it right away. They came in other colors as well. This is something to point out because we see various versions of these, and I haven't shown one in the past. These are little ceramic night lights made in Japan. This one is a Lefton, and they're very cute. Sometimes they were lions, sometimes they were little girls, but they're night lights. You see birds too. The light goes in underneath there, and it would glow through the porcelain. The porcelain's very thin, and the idea was that it would be a night light for a child in a child's room. And this one is priced at $10, which actually seems pretty good to me. I'm not sure if this one line by his eye is a crack, because sometimes people would put too hot a bulb in and they were thin, or whether that's just some sort of schmutz that'll come off. But I'm not seeing any success getting it off, so I think I'm going to leave it. But ordinarily for $10, I would think that would be a buy. Well, I'm looking in the $10 jewelry tray, and right away my eye is drawn to these pieces because these are part of the Renoir and Matisse line. They're signed Renoir when they don't have colored enamel in them, and they're signed Matisse when they do. Let's see what the price is on these. I think they're $10 each in here. Oh, $5. Wow. Well, for $5, I've got to get those because I do like the copper jewelry. They are signed pieces. There's no scratches, which is important. And people do look to build sets of these, so those go with something. These are also Renoir, and these little curly cues, they're only $5 as well. I have a friend who's a dealer who does nothing but costume jewelry out in Washington State, and she really likes this stuff, and so I buy them with the idea that I can sell to her if I get it cheaply enough, because she's always looking to make sets. And then the comedy and tragedy are only $5, so I think I'm going to take all of those. Also in the $5 bin is this set. This is Sarah Coventry. I personally like this and have had some luck selling these before. Sarah Coventry was a little lower end. It was house party jewelry, kind of like Tupperware or Avon. Well, more like Tupperware or home interiors, where you'd have a party and have your friends come over and you would sell them stuff. I don't usually do Sarah Coventry because it was not as high quality, but this set, the colors are fun. It's modernist, which sometimes is good in jewelry and sometimes not, but it's a whole set and I like it, and that's reason enough to get it. It's not always about anything other than what appeals to me. These are more typical of the Caro Nan purses. I've shown you some of their specialty purses that were thematic, but I want to show you this one because this is more typical of what they usually had. Oftentimes there'd be a penny glued to the top that would tell you the date. Ocean Village Treasures by Caro Nan. All of this is hand painted. What they would do is they would take these basket weave purses. These were made in Mississippi, and they would have a screen print of a basic street scene, and then it would actually be hand painted with lettering telling the various things in the town or the tourist attraction you were in. So Ocean Village Treasures must have been where they sold this. Hathaway's Food Store, Paxton Realtors. I always have fun because each one was different for each town, and then you look and try to figure out where was this place. Wicker Basket, Southeast Travel, so we're in the Southeast, and there it says it, New Smyrna Beach, Florida. So this particular basket came from there. Flagler Avenue is the main drag in New Smyrna. This one's only priced at $12.50. If the top was in a little better shape, I'd be tempted to get it. They did these for tourist attractions in places all over the United States, and so you could make quite a collection of similar looking purses that are all from different places. Well, if you could make this work, you could start your own taxi for $10. Kind of a neat thing. I haven't seen one of those for sale. And these folks have marked down some things. They are very generous with the discounts. And look at this. It's Sasha Brostov, floral pattern. Does not have a signature on the bottom, so that means it's first factory. And it's marked down to $10. And that's just a cute enough piece. I think for that price, I have to have it. Hey, how are you?
What did you say about the signature on the bottom? On the bottom? Or?
The bottom, yes. The poodles are fun. This is Glidden pottery. Glidden was a pottery designer in the 50s, and he caught on to the modernist poodle designs. In fact, he did a lot of really good stuff. Some of his things are rather collectible and fairly expensive. This is priced at $45. There was a time that that would have been considered a pretty good bargain. I'm not really sure where the prices on this piece are now, but I like it. Okay, so these are really cool. These are op art glasses from the 1970s, and they've got the dangles down below because when you put them on...
Yeah, you're done all right.
Nah.
You can't go out in public.
Ha! Can you see it? There we go. Okay, yes, so it would look better with a different haircut, but these hang over your ears, they hold the glasses on. I'm probably talking to no sound. Nope, I do have the sound on, that's great for a change. And then you have instant earrings. I think these things are really fun. I might have to own these. I have a thing about sunglasses. In this day where we tend to coddle children a lot, we forget that fairy tales were used to scare children into behaving well in the old days. This Child's Cup from about 1920 with the transferware shows Red Riding Hood being approached by the wolfly gentleman there. It's not a good meeting. Doesn't have a mark on the bottom. This is probably German. And it says, "Where are you going to, my pretty maid?" "I'm going to Grandma, sir," she said. Okay, well, you get the idea. Later on, Red Riding Hood is more cutesy and not quite in such danger. Now she's going to show us what this great device here is for, because this thing is really cool and you hardly ever see them. So if you look here, this is a big magnifying glass. And it folds out. It was portable, at least as portable at the time. And then you put your Carte de Vista in, and when you take a look through the glass, look how it zooms it in.
And you can move this.
Oh, and it's adjustable like a stereoscope, so that you can bring it in. And that's an interesting monument too for firemen. Yeah. That is really cool.
And the whole thing collapsed down.
Yeah, that is really neat. And how much is that?
$150.
That is something really special. Where in the world did you get that?
I found it at one of the flea markets.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I had to have it.
It is awesome. Thank you for showing us how that works. I have not seen one of those in years.
Yes.
So while I'm thinking of it, please comment in the space below here and also hit the thumbs up button to like this video. If you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button below. Also hit the bell below to be notified of new videos coming every Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And thank you so much for following along. Let's go back to this video.
They do have nighttime security here, but some dealers prefer to stay with their stuff. And so there is a shower facility here on site, and there's a place where the RVers congregate, and There's little parties that go on. It's really fun. I've stayed over sometimes, although I have to admit these days I'm a man who prefers a hotel room, but it can be a great time if you're set up well for it. Cookie jars, for the first time in a long time, are starting to trend again, and there's some unusual ones here I should show you. This one here from the 1960s is musical Mickey Mouse. Musical because when you lift his head, there's a music box in there. And since this isn't mine, I'm not going to wind it. And then on the bottom, it's got a label for a New York importer, Dan Brainerd Creative. And the upside down, there we'll get it right, is Walt Disney Productions. So this was sanctioned by Disney. Notice the red is cold painted, that's why it's chipped off a little bit, but this is really in remarkable condition, and it's priced at $100. These were thin, they got broken easily, we don't usually see them in good shape. And then here we have the Mayor of Oz and one of the Monkeys of Oz, and these are called star jars. Treasure Craft originally started these around 1995. They did the first few in the line, and then Treasure Craft was bought by Falstaff and the production sent overseas, so then the line was taken up by other companies. The USA made Treasure Craft ones are the most valuable, but these are expensive. They were done as limited editions. You see these two are both priced at $325. I've actually gotten that price for some of the ones in this line. So that was the last time cookie jars were super popular in the mid-90s, is when you started seeing these very, very limited editions made. I think she's very pretty. I've always liked wall pockets, and seeing one with a full figure of a woman is rather unusual. This one does not have a mark, but again, I would think German porcelain, probably about 1910. And $22, not a bad price at all. Lots of people have seen the Hall Aladdin teapot. This was Bauer's version of an Aladdin teapot. It's a little different shape, it's more streamlined, but it does have the linear design like the Hall version. And this is priced at $50. It should have the Bauer Los Angeles mark on the bottom, and it does. This will be from about 1940. Bauer was a huge company, one of the big four in California dinnerware making back in the day. Here's a nice case full of cigarette cases. And a few of them are smaller and would be compacts and calling card cases, but the larger ones originally were meant for cigarettes, but people use them as billfolds now. They'll use them as business card cases, and they are very collectible. If they are sterling, they can be in the $150 to $200 range, depending on design. This one in the middle here is probably the most unusual design. And it has a slanted top, which is a little different as well. We see these linear ones more often. If you can find one that is not sterling, then you might be looking at about $35 to $50. Yeah, they're pretty amazing, actually. This is Kathy Tarr, and she is a dealer in fine porcelain, and she gets really neat stuff. I know her from the West Palm show. I see her here, and she's got a fantastic selection of heron fishnet right now. If you compare these to the Andrea by Sedek and that sort of thing, you realize the big difference between transferware and hand painting. All of this fishnet is painted by hand. Heron is a porcelain maker out of Hungary, and they've made these for quite a while, but they were not very prolific in the West because of the Iron Curtain. So we're really only seeing nice selections coming into this country now, and there's just some amazing pieces, things I've never seen before. The grasshopper is a little one, and it's just really great. The cobra here is something really special. They're just beautiful. And yes, oh wow, look at that. Can you see it? Yes, oh that's great. I'm a little crowded in here, but... Oh, that's okay. No, they look terrific. The otter, they're just wonderful. They're very collectible, and they're not inexpensive, but they are all hand done. So that's, you know, you pay for handwork now. There's not very many places in the world where people are doing anything by hand. Most things are machined.
it takes a while to sell.
Flambe is specific, but it's so beautiful because of the depth of the glaze. Oh, really? They used gold in the batch? Just like with glass where they had to use. Interesting. And we've got the lamp cellar and the carpet cellar, and look at the detail.
Yeah.
Even a little bit of variation in the glaze. And then I've always liked the penguin because my dad was in Antarctica, so yeah, he was stationed there.
Oh my God.
Those are wonderful. What era are those?
These are, let me see, they did it for quite, I'm going to look at the mark.
Oh yeah, that looks...
Pre-World War II.
Those are pre-Second World War. Okay, yeah, I know the marks make a big difference on those. Yeah, it was just such a phenomenal thing that Royal Doulton did. And the people who love it,
they go crazy.
They go crazy for it, and then everyone else buys the multicolored painted figures.
Very old. When you look at the bottom, the mark is so totally, it's all done by hand.
Oh, hand marked on the little cherub.
Things weren't stamped until much later.
Oh, that's very interesting.
They wrote on the bottom, potted by Doulton and Company, even before they got their royal warrant.
Oh, and that would have been in the 19th century.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. So there's these lovely girls who we see fairly often, and then the cherub in the middle is, so it's late 19th century?
Yes, and early
20th.
Yeah, this is one of these that I took a really big chance on. Let me show you. Well, the book value is $3,700. I'm going to just peel this off so you
thank you.
See.
Oh, yes.
See how different this is?
Yes, and it's Doulton before the Royal Charter. Yes.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Very unusual piece, and it's very heavy. It's not.
Yes, it seems
light.
quite dense looking at it.
They went from chamber pots and things.
Right, hotel ware, right.
And everyday household ware, bowls and pitchers and things like that. And they started doing this. And
okay, so the art lines really came around the turn of the last century.
Absolutely. Yeah, very, very unusual piece. These are rare also. These are an M series. They did a series of miniatures that were identical to the larger piece, like this. These are all very, very high value. Doulton's gone, but they're still making pieces and calling it Doulton.
Oh, yes, I know, and it's just not the same.
Sad,
yeah, it's always interesting and fascinating to me when the miniatures are more valuable than the full size, but it makes sense because it's just as much work. Well, unfortunately, he passed this year in Brazil, but Abraham Palatnik designed these really great lucite animals with the stripes and the striations that comprise the design. They're just wonderful fun, and they are very collectible. You will sometimes still find them for cheap prices because not everybody has clued into what they are. They're very lightweight, they're just plastic, but it's all about the design. If they don't have scratches, and you see here, made in Brazil, they are a big hit with the modernists, and those pieces, I'm going to ask the dealer when they come, but I suspect that they're priced in the $75 to $100 range. And while we're on the subject of lucite animals, this seahorse has a great shape, and he's only priced at $30. I don't know whether he's signed. Let me get where you can see his form a little better. Really neat piece. I am tempted by that one. And then here's a really unusual piece of Roseville Raymore. Raymore is primarily dinnerware, but this bowl, which was done so that you could arrange things in it, is a really neat design. And it's got the Raymore by Roseville on the bottom. This is priced at $650. It's a very hard piece to find. Raymore, unfortunately, is what did in Roseville. Their sales were falling because they'd done the floral lines for a long, long time, and people were starting to tire of them and want other things. So they decided to do this ultra-modern design in 1954. But they mainly did it as dinnerware, and it looked great, but it chipped easily. And by the time they got the quality under control, 1954 was a bad recession year, and it was enough to put them out of business. It's too bad because the later Raymore is good quality and very collectible now. If you want to look distinctive with jewelry, well, you can have jewelry made of gold, diamonds, silver, pearls, or Cracker Jacks. These are Cracker Jack toys made into jewelry, and they are so much fun. Look how great they look. They're all strung with beads or with chain. But every single one of these little charms is something that was gotten out of a Cracker Jack box.
And I just think they're so colorful and so fun. And a friend of mine told me this dealer was here. I've never seen this before. I thought I just have to come and take a look. The little Cracker Jack prizes are collectible in their own right. You will sometimes see these little charms laying in drawers, so study this, because knowing what came out of a Cracker Jack box, there are some of these that can be rather rare, but strung together as jewelry, they're just really fun, and obviously this dealer has taken a lot of time to match things. And you know, there's a lot of handwork in this, and stringing all of it, so the prices are in the $35 range for the dangle earrings. It seems like $95 is what they're asking on bracelets and necklaces. But they're just fun as can be. And they look perfect on these stands because the colors match. 100% plastic.
Here's the queue of people waiting to get into this show. You pay a different amount depending which day you come. If you come on Friday and see all the really early stuff, you pay more. If you come on Sunday, it's cheap, but a lot of people are packing up and some are even gone by Sunday. But you pay your money and in you go. And it looks like we're starting to get a lineup, so I'm going to get back to my booth. And it looks like my stuff and I survived the weather. It's still under tarps. I will have a lot of resetting to do, but all the stuff that couldn't get wet is in the car. And my friend got her booth open successfully, so mine is next. Today, the red tent is quite a bit taller than it was yesterday. I raised it to make it easier for people to get under and take a look, but that was to make up for the fact that I had it down low so that the wind wouldn't take it yesterday. Nice thing about these tents, if you're careful about how you display, you can actually put them up and down at night and they can be more of a cover close to the ground so they don't catch wind. All right, well, it took some time, but the weather has gotten nice. I've got all my stuff out. I'm going to turn you around so you can see that there are a lot of people coming in now. And I was able to put things out, but you know, once you commit to a rain day thing, you end up leaving a lot of the display the same. So I'm still using the van, but I was able to put all the little case stuff out where people can see it. In the meantime, because I didn't have the furniture completely covered with stuff yesterday, I actually sold 2 pieces, so I have 6 fewer shelves to display on. And while I did sell a lot of stuff yesterday, that definitely made it more challenging. So I've redone this table to be more modern glass, Blanco, Costa Boda, Orifors, Pilgrim, some Murano, and then I maintained this display pretty much the way it was. We were able to put all the baskets out. I moved the Costa Boda catwalk bases here for safekeeping. Most of this is about the way it was. And then I redid the back table a little bit to be able to be more thematic, and I'm able to finally properly display that wonderful Italian silk putti blanket. And then inside we have our, again, still leaving a lot of the paper inside. I think we are safe and ready to go. I am with Tammy and David from Vintage Uprising. They came all the way from Texas to be at the show. And the lovely Susan, who comes with me to all of the shows. She's my show partner here in Florida and a very dear friend, so it's been so much fun. Thanks for joining us. And this is George the Antique Nomad on Instagram, Facebook, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for joining me again in the fun and fascinating antique community, here where online meets the real world. Please click the subscribe button below. Click the bell to be notified when new videos upload. Leave a comment below and hit thumbs up to like this video. Links to our online social media daily posts and our items for sale are in the description. This is George at the Antique Nomad. Bye for now.